Welcome, peace and love, family. Welcome to the N.E.P.P.C podcast. I'm Brother Frank, and I'm a former political prisoner.
Abdul Haq Islam.
Today, we deal with Black History Month, right? This is the last Wednesday of our podcast series. This when we focus on Elombe Brath for Black History Month. Elombe Brath had extended body of work, and we want to reflect on who Elombe was and what that means for U.S. held political prisoners. Elombe was serious about, advocating for Mumia Abu-Jamal's release. He knew that they were trying to put him to death, right? And Elombe spoke out against that, and he even let us know that we had to take a position. We had to sit around and watch things happen. Elombe Brath was involved with organizing people on a local level, national level, and international level. His work extends for decades. He was the founder of the Patrice Lumumba Coalition. He was also a co-founder of the December 12th Movement, human rights organization that me and N.E.P.P.C is a part of, and or members of, rather. And we want to talk about Elombe and talk about, to honor and respect Elombe is to carry on his work. One of his work being the freedom of our political prisoners. I spoke to his son Senke, and Senke shared a story with me about how Elombe organized for a former political prisoner, Nelson Mandela, to be able to speak in the United States and state. Try to tell Elombe that, they did not want him to have U.S. held political prisoners speak. And he let them know that, you're not in control of this. And, on that platform, a political prisoner spoke, or former political prisoner spoke. I think that says a lot about who Elombe was as relating to the work of U.S. held political prisoners. Brother Abdul Hassan?
Yeah, peace and love, brothers and sisters. Elombe Brath, among us in the movement, was known as a brother with an encyclopedic knowledge. Every time you see this brother, he had a handful of newspapers, newspapers all over the world, and some of them you might not be able to find now, but you can still do this type of research online. So when we talk about work and we talk about research, we can measure ourselves up to the level of work and research that Elombe did and see how close we come to that standard. Like Brother Frank would say, Elombe had an organization, the Patrice Lumumba Coalition, and used to meet every Friday on 127th Street at the school there. And we went there every Friday. He was co-founder of the December 12th Movement. He was on WBAI for 30 years. He did work. Let me put my glasses on so I can look like an intellectual. Did work to aid in Namibia in 1960 with Sam Njoma, and this led him working with other freedom fighters like Samora Michel, Thomas Sankara, Kenyame Satime, and Robert Mugabe. Like I said, he formed the Patrice Lumumba Coalition. Patrice Lumumba was a very famous and very great freedom fighter, you understand, who was murdered for saying that the resources of the Congo need to serve the Congolese people, and people who say that, it's like signing a death warrant. He built support for Africa among the people here in America. A lot of people in America didn't know much about Africa, so he always brought back the latest info on Africa and the freedom struggle. As a lot of y'all know, the colonizers went there and stuck up the continent, with the gun, taking the riches and the natural resources, and Elombe let the people in America know what was going on, and in so doing, built support for the people on the African continent. Elombe was fundamental in coming out against the use of the word Negro, to replace it with black, the African. Negro is like a insult, the derogatory term, about our people. Elombe built black consciousness around black beauty. Black is beautiful. He organized the madrasa models. Black women who made the natural hairdo popular. So Elombe did a whole lot of work in raising the consciousness of our people. You know, he was one of our great ones. You know, and like I said, he is someone we need to research and listen to his speeches, because he gives us a whole lot of knowledge, a whole lot of information, and really, increase the volume of our struggle. The intensity of our struggle. Among ourselves here in this country, and the freedom struggle on the continent. Elombe Brath, freedom fighter.
Freedom fighter. One of the quotes that Elombe would say, and it was credited to Marcus Mosiah Garvey, was, when organizing the people fail to organize, the conditions will. And I think that is exactly what the political prisoners advocate, right? They attempted to organize people, and they understood that they could go only but so far, because the conditions would organize the people if their ability to organize the people did not turn out the way that they would like. I think that when I think about Elombe and I think about his effort to always organize people, he did what was necessary to get the work done, and he went as far with doing the work as he could go. I think that us involved in the campaigns and the work to free U.S. held political prisoners, we got to do our best, and we got to take it as far as we could take it in our lifetime, right? Because they are going to be political prisoners moving forward as the conditions remain the way they are. And, there is a possibility that on our side anyway, that there won't be no political prisoners, right? We represent the Black freedom fighter, the freedom fighter of working class people. And, those ideas that are out there are threatening to the state. And that's why you have political prisoners. But Elombe was a freedom fighter, and our political prisoners are freedom fighters. They captured freedom fighters. And we got to keep that in mind each and every time we deal with the injustices that are going on in the world. There's a number of people making sacrifices, addressing injustices, and we got to show solidarity. We got to make the distinction between solidarity and sympathy. Yes, you can share. Yes, you can repost. Yes, you can make a comment, right? But is that all you have? You need to push yourself to do more. Lumbe's work expanded decades. And I think that, that is an expression of his love. He knew that love was active. It was not passive. It was something that he had to let people know in practice how he really felt about Black people, his people. So, just hearing his son talk about his father's work, him being on radio, him being involved in just the culture moving forward, you got to ask yourself, that example, how can that example be utilized to free U.S. held political prisoners? If you're an artist, you can paint a picture. If you're a photographer, you can take a picture of a political prisoner, or those carrying on the work of U.S. held political prisoners, because the work doesn't stop because our captured freedom fighters are captured. We continue to do the work, because that's how we really feel about the work that's being done. It's work that is necessary. We have to be continuous with it. We have to study the conditions, seeing what's going on, and utilize different platforms to make what was needed to be done. And I think that you who are viewing this, you have a responsibility to show respect to those who spend time to address injustices. Right, our number is 347-679-3936. Again, the number is 347-679-3936. Contact us. Let us know what you can do, what you're willing to do. Take some time. It's Black History Month still. Write to a political prisoner. Let us know what your position is, and let us start exchanging ideas from the political prisoners and others. Also, you can cash app us at Sefu Sankofa, SEFUSANKOFA. That's Cash App, SEFUSANKOFA, so that we can use those funds to do what's necessary for our political prisoners. Brother Abdul Haq Islam, your experience with Elombe and how he took a position when it came to Mumia, how can you translate that today with what's going on with Mumia?
Well, we must stand up for those who fought for us, and you know, Elombe, remembering our political prisoners, you know, did a lot to increase our consciousness, you know, of that level of the struggle. And Elombe talking about what's happening on the continent, you know, brought into view a lot of the people who were jailed and assassinated, you know, for their views. For example, Elombe brought Nelson and Minnie Mandela to New York, to Harlem, 125th Street. 200,000 people were there, you know, and they renamed 125th Street in Powell. They named it Africa Square. You know, at first it was African Liberation Square, but I guess it was some colored leaders that really didn't like the word liberation. I don't know what they saw wrong with it, but they took the word liberation out and now it's African Square. You know, what I didn't mention in my first presentation, and Elombe also organized AJAZ, the African Society in charge of jazz, you know, and in that he said that jazz musicians must be in charge of their own product, you know, that it must be run and controlled by African people. Also, what I mentioned before also was that Elombe was a graphic artist for Guild Nobles, like it is. It brought the images of many African leaders, you know, to our TV screens here in the United States, you know, and like I said before, many of these African leaders had been locked up and some assassinated, you know, for their views, you know. So Elombe brings to our mind the importance of us doing our research, doing our study, you know, and we talk about work, you know, are we really doing the amount of work that we could do, you know, the time to study, the details it takes to study and to do research, to bring out the important facts you associate to distinguish truth from falsehood, you know, those type of, to bring out that type of information, you understand, which will set us on fire to make us do some work. You understand? That type of information shows how other people achieve their liberation and what we need to do. Elombe did all that, bringing that to our people, you know, constantly communicating to our people, constantly educating, getting rid of the miseducation that many of our people had, you know, through these United States of America, the educational system, the media, and all like that, the culture, you know, brought us a true African culture, you know, a very, very valuable brother in our history, you know. So it makes a whole lot of sense for us to look up the word Elombe Brath, you know, to listen to his presentations, you know, and to commit these things to memory, and to let other people know, you know, of this great brother. You know, it's a brother that I walk with. You know, I used to go to the meetings of the Patrice Lumumba Coalition every Friday, and you know, it was just so much knowledge that he gave up. You know, the type of knowledge that we need today. You know, today, right now in America, right now in the world, it's a lot of atrocities.
But I just, before you go proceed with that, I just want to say, in the spirit of Elombe Brath, you know, this is about organizing, being educated, and taking action. One of the actions that we can take, as far as Mumia Abu Jamal is concerned, is that we can contact Philadelphia's District Attorney Larry Krashner at 215-686-8000, or write him at 3 South Penn Square, Philadelphia, PA 19107, or email at justice@phila.gov. We want to tell him that Mumia is innocent, that he should be sent home, and that Mumia needs serious medical assistance, and that needs to be done ASAP. We need these demands, right? We demand that because we are taxpayers, because one of the things we want to do is, in the spirit of Elombe, is continue to fight for our U.S. held political prisoners, continue to take up the position that Black people have a right to be self-determined, and to continue to fight for our national liberation, for our freedom. All right, continue, brother.
Yeah, this mass incarceration, excuse me. that's an atrocity. You know, Elombe informed us about atrocities, like in the Congo, you know, in Nigeria. You know, Elombe informed us about these things, you know, and made us understand the value of being a freedom fighter and the disgrace of being a traitor like Mobutu, you know, brought these things to our continent. And right now, in the world, there's a lot of atrocities happening right now in the world because of the colonizer, you know, these bloodsuckers, you know, that cause pain and suffering all over the world. A brother named N.E.P.P.C, Air Force pilot, recently set himself on fire, you understand, to protest, to say he wouldn't be a part of bombing these little babies, 6-month-old babies, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old babies, you know, even young teenagers being murdered, you know, for the sake of natural resources, you know, that he would not be a part of that, you know. And I know that message got to a lot of people, you know, who are carrying iron, you understand, for the colonizer, you know, black people, you understand, whose people have been tortured and murdered, you know, by the weapons, you know, of this racist white supremacist enemy. Now you got black people carrying weapons for this racist white supremacist enemy going around the world murdering other dark-skinned people to stick them up for this enemy. So I know N.E.P.P.C's act, you know, must put something on these brothers and sisters' minds, you know, the insanity, you understand, and the disgrace of fighting, you know, for someone who have been so cruel and murderous to your own people, you know. And you know, these are the type of information is graphic, detailed information. This is the type of thing that Elombe brought to our people, you know. So we say carry it on, you know, do your research, do your study, do your reading, do your thinking, you know, and think in terms of liberation, the liberation struggle, you know, and be a mighty people, you understand, and what's called freedom all.
Absolutely, my good brother from Queensbridge, Sugar Ray, he had post 2 comments. He said, you know, what a sacrifice. That's right. Elombe Brath made an incredible sacrifice when it came to his people. He worked himself tirelessly around organizing people and having various speaking engagements. And also, my brother Sugar Ray also said we must do more. Yes, we must do more. We must write to a political prisoner. We must arrange visiting a political prisoner. And that's what I'm trying to do myself, right? Because I don't just tell you about doing something. I make sure I do it myself. Sometimes I don't do it. Sometimes, but I'm human, right? If I know that I'm gonna get back on this platform, I'm gonna speak to people, then I'm gonna do a self-evaluation, and then I'm gonna push myself even harder. So, you know, in the spirit of Elombe Brath, we got to take up the position when it comes to our political prisoners. We got to be very clear about our political prisoners and doing what needs to be done to bring them home. It's not an easy task, but it's a task that needs to be done. Because doing research on Elombe Brath and being a part of an organization that is still running after over 3 decades, it says a lot about his forward thinking, him preparing his people for the time that he wouldn't be here physically. And I think we, as living currently, we have to think about the next generation that's coming. We love them, or at least we should love them. And if we do, what are we doing regarding the expression of our love? Our love should be based on what we do materially, right? How we engage our community, how we struggle for what is correct, and the fact that we are not just examining what's happening and coming up with a articulate way to describe the conditions of a people, and only if they did certain things would their lives change. We have to look at politics, right? The relationship between people and power, and decide, you know, what position our people need to be in to make sure that they have power, make sure that they have the right to control their destiny. You know, we have to be very serious, as Elombe Brath was. So when we deal with Black History Month, we have to deal with it from an educational perspective, as well as being reacquainted with who we are historically, and looking at what's going on currently, and telling ourselves that we have to take a position. We have to be a part of an organization or start an organization, but we have to be a part of some process to really make concrete change, because that's what Elombe was. He didn't just stay with one organization. He had several organizations, and these organizations were attacking different things. And I thought that that says a lot about him. And we need to look at that too. We need to look at, how much we have to give to an organization, how much we have to give to ourselves, to our people, and give it, right? Give it, do our best, give our best work, because our people deserve our best. Looking at Elombe's Brath history, and I never met him personally, because when I started coming around, that's when his health had declined. But you actually seen him at his peak. You've seen him speak, and you've seen him engaging people. You've seen him bringing people together for the sake of being educated and informed. And I thought that that says a lot about him, because even now in 2024, we're able to have a platform like this and actually talk about Elombe and talk about Elombe and the content of us taking action regarding injustice in the world. Because I know Elombe would have had a definitive position around Palestine. I know he would have had a definitive position around U.S. held political prisoners like N.E.P.P.C, like Reverend Joy Powell, like Kamal Siddiqui, like Mumia Abu-Jamal. I mean, it's evident, obviously, about Mumia, because he, on Elombe Brath's speeches and selected writing, he actually had a piece on Mumia. They was trying to execute Mumia on Marcus Garvey's birthday. So that was a direct attack to Black people. We're going to execute a freedom fighter on the birthday of a freedom fighter. So, it's psychological warfare was going on, but our people organized, we stood up, we fought, and Mumia is still with us, right? But we have to do more. We have to bring him home. He deserves to be home. He's innocent. We can't have him die in prison, right? But the state understands, the fight to bring him home, and they're putting up a fight too, because for him to be brought home is for him to be right and for them to be wrong. So the state is stubborn, and we have to have the greater will than the state, and that requires discipline, focus. That requires consistent education. We put out this episode, and it might reach 5 people or 50 people or maybe 500 people, but out of those people, right, there's a certain quantity of quality of people that we're going to reach that actually is going to take this very seriously and ask us what we can do. So we call on artists, we call on writers to get with us. We are the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. Our contact information is 347-679-3936. Call us directly, text us, let us know that you're interested in doing some work, and you're going to use we're going to use your talents to raise awareness about our political prisoners. Brother Abdul Haq Islam, as it relates to Elombe and him using his talents, how should people emulate his example of using their talents? Because he was on a bunch of things that related to moving the people forward.
And when I say that the basic message of our presentation today is education, that was a lot of what Elombe was about, education. Looking at various things happening around the world to understand the true nature of the system, and what we need to do. And these are mobilizing and motivating factors, for us to work hard to understand the true essence, what's going on, and our political education, the fundamental component of our political education is our struggle for power, our struggle against a so-called powerful enemy, whose inclination is to oppress and exploit people, So educate, do your research, you understand, the differentiate between reality and myth, to get to understand the value of evidence, what evidence is valid, what is invalid, what is very, very powerful in proving the point, when you have a position, study in order that to strengthen your position so that you can advance it, to win the battle of reality versus myth, to move our people forward, you understand, and to increase our power in this land of the this land of slavery and vultures. You understand? To stand up tall, to build our muscles and struggle. You understand? To develop our minds. This super intelligence we have as a people, and develop your mind as a weapon and put it to work. In the liberation struggle in the manner of Elombe Brath, Black Power.
Absolutely. That's a very sharp assessment, appreciated by me, and I know it's appreciated by those who are viewing. For those who are on TikTok looking at us, I just want to let you know that there's a definition that we utilize to raise awareness regarding political prisoners. And that definition is that political prisoners are people jailed on charges related to their resistance to oppression and repression and targeted by the state for their political beliefs and or actions. I think that that's very important for us to understand that clearly. So when we see or hear about political prisoners, we got to let them know that we got to let ourselves know and others know that there's this distinction between just a regular prisoner and a political prisoner, because some prisoners prior to their incarceration were involved in activities that were detrimental to the development of a people. And political prisoners on the other side, they were involved in organizing people and fighting for things and reality that is beneficial to the development of their people. So one, it was a hindrance on the people, and one was a benefit for the people, for advancement. And I guess, once we understand that clearly, then we have to understand that, there's a strong reason to fight for our political prisoners, right? Our captured freedom fighters. We can't let them die in prison. We have to let the call be heard any and everywhere.